What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, podcast is still on tonight. I just want to get this out here real quick. You see, I've watched three videos, and one involves obviously crap. The other one had One Stop for Gamers, and the other one was from Review Tech USA. Now, I was wondering what's all this about. Right? I was checking these out, and now, One Stop for Gamers video, he was showing off Phil Spencer claiming that, the PS4 the PS4 Pro is not competition for the Xbox One X, and that the Xbox One X is in a league of its own. Basically, One Stop saying that the Xbox One X is a next-gen console, and if it's a next-gen console, One Stop, then I hate to break it to you, but it's already destroyed by the PlayStation 5. The PlayStation 5's rumored specs was that it had over 10 teraflops of computing power and it had a higher GPU and vice versa. So it's kind of already beaten. So I wouldn't say that. But, that's basically what it is. One Stop is a PR stunt. It's all PR talk from Phil, to say that this thing is so powerful. Now, let's go ahead and fast forward. Crap Gamer claimed that Microsoft lied about the whole 4K uncompromised, and he tried to damage control, saying no, they never promised this, that, and the third. Yet you guys know the same song and dance, and obviously the fanboys blew it out of proportion with what the lady said, even though she basically meant that. But again, the fanboys blew it out of proportion, saying that every single game was going to be 4K 60. Hence why every PlayStation guy, every Nintendo guy, and PC guy is calling this console out for not being able to deliver what exactly it was promised. Now, it can deliver 4K. Absolutely, it can do 4K. However, it can't do 4K on every single game. And the reason why I said that, well, let's go ahead and look at a few things here. Now, Review Tech USA did a video. He said that the Xbox One X uncompromised, 4K experience looks pretty compromised. That's what he said in his video. Like, that's basically the title of his video. Now, when I watched the video, he brought up a very, very huge valid point. I'm looking at this from a business perspective and as a consumer perspective. You see, a lot of people don't think about this. Now, obviously, the narrative has changed drastically. Hence the title of this the video. Changing narratives. Remember, it was 4K 60, no compromises. Now it's just 4K uncompromised, true 4K. Now, when we look at the games as of late for the Xbox One X, now we got a good amount of games that have been 4K enhanced, older games, Injustice 2. There's a big list of games that are receiving 4K upgrades. Digital Foundry actually gave us a heads up of that beforehand. Before we even got the list, they said that 4K assets will benefit the older games, so they would get 4K enhancements. Some will get 4K, some will get 4K 60. So we got that. But if you look at the newer games, some of these newer games, a good chunk of these newer games, are not 4K. For example, a certain game, Killing Floor 2, which a lot of you really wanted me to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it here. Killing Floor 2 was a game that was on PC. It got ported to PlayStation 4 and basically was kind of a console-only thing on PS4 just for a little bit until they moved it to Xbox. It happened to come to Xbox, and the fanboy said, oh, Sony loses another exclusive, and, people were laughing because it was never an exclusive to begin with. It was never exclusive to begin with. It was on two platforms. Hate to break it to you guys, two platforms equals not exclusive. PC, PlayStation, those are two different platforms. Not exclusive. So, it's like Xbox and their games, not exclusive, but, people don't want to acknowledge that. They want to damage control and find some crappy narrative, and it's silly. So, we continue. And, in that video, a certain person who, again, I'm not going to say his name because a lot of people don't like me saying his name, so I'm not going to say his name. But he said that this game is going to get 4K enhancements, it's going to be 4K, it's going to be this, that, and the third. Absolutely blows people away. Oh my God, Megaton, all this crap. And then I go to Review Tech USA's video. I'm like, okay, what's he talking about? I find out that this game, and of course I found it out from you guys, but this game is not only not 4K, it's not 4K, but it's not even 60 frames per second. It's not 60 frames per second, and it's not 4K. Then I go back and I look about some older games. Now, this is me doing my own research. I go back and look at some older games, okay? Aside from a few non-demanding titles, like Super Lucky Tales, Forza, The indie games that they showed at their conference. Assassin's Creed Origins, a game that Microsoft is heavily marketing as if it's exclusive to them when it's not. It's on PlayStation 4. It's coming out day one on PS4 as well. You would think that this game would come out for a month exclusive for Xbox or something, the way they're marketing this. But it's coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox day one. And people think this game is going to sell the Xbox One X in droves. It's not, guys. It's not. But let's go ahead and talk about that game. Assassin's Creed Origins is not 4K. It's upscaled. Or not upscaled, I'm sorry. It's, it's not upscaled. It's dynamic 4K. But it's not 4K. It's not 4K. Crackdown 3 is not 4K. Anthem, the EA game, is not 4K. And I'm pretty sure the list will get bigger. So the point of Review Tech USA's video was that Microsoft is marketing this thing wrong. They need to change their marketing. They need to say that this thing is not a 4K or true 4K and all that. They should say it's 4K capable. And you know what? I actually agree with that. But at the same time, let's look at it from a customer's standpoint, and let's look at what's on the market today. Because I'm pretty sure Review Tech USA doesn't know this or he forgot to mention this. If you go to any store, whether it be Best Buy, whether it be Walmart, whether it be Target, you name it, any place, GameStop, any place you name of where you can buy a console, if you look at the box for the One S, it says HDR capable. And it says 4K capable, and vice versa. It says that on the box. It also says 4K Blu-ray drive, and what did it say? 4K Blu-ray drive and slimmer and vice versa. That's what it said on the box, if I'm not mistaken. So if the One X comes out and it says HDR and 4K capable, wouldn't that be the same as the One S? And if you look at both versions, that means that they would be legit. They will confuse the consumer, because the consumer will look at that and be like, especially a soccer mom, let's face it, most of these little kids who are hyping up this console, these little 5-year-olds that don't know what they're talking about, with their crazy little YouTube pages saying the beast is coming, and their silly damage control comments and their dumb lack of tech knowledge and vice versa, and some of these 40-year-old men that don't know anything about tech, but they try to educate you and me, they fail to realize that. They fail to realize that. And when we talk about this, right, when we see this, you have to look at this again from everybody else's perspective. Now, these kids can't buy this console. The parents are going to buy this console. What do you think is going to happen at Black Friday or Christmas when their son goes, "Hey, mommy, can I get the Xbox One X?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, Billy. Even though you put 2 and 2 together, you got 6, and you got a D on your report card. Sure thing. I'll get it for you because you're a good kid. I love you. You're my son, right?" She's gonna go to the Walmart, any other store she can find. She's gonna go to that section, and she's gonna see 2 different versions. It's gonna say One X and One S, right? Okay. Now that's why I said the name of this is stupid. We talked about this in the podcast. The name is stupid. It should have been called Xbox One Elite. That's what it should have been called. I don't know what Phil was thinking. Phil's so awesome. We didn't want to go back to that. You're an idiot for not going back to that. That was more marketable and way more sellable. That's one thing they got right last generation. They had their names on point and they had everything straight. You know what I'm saying? The 360S. Or the 360 Slim, the 360S, which was the newer, refined model, and it had the cooler, the vents on the side, and had a cooler futuristic look, kind of. It had that look, and then they had the Elite. They had all that for the 360, you're right. But you mean to tell me you guys can't get this right for a new console? And this is 2017 going into 2018? Come on, Microsoft. What are you doing? Now that really makes me wonder what's going to happen next generation. I mean, let's face it, the spotlight is on, man. The spotlight is legit off of you, but it's on you in a way that you don't want it. You see, a lot of people are calling your lead that you got last generation a fluke. A lot of people are calling that out, and I'm not taking anything away from the 360. The 360 was a good console. Good console. Has some great games. I kind of wish that Gears of War came out this generation as opposed to it coming out that generation. Why? Because that game was new, it was fresh, and it automatically solidified that, hey, Microsoft's got some talent. They can do with the talent. They're not doing anything with the talent they have now. Look what they're doing now. They have milked Gears of War to the ground. They have milked Forza to the ground. They have canceled Fable, but they milked that. It's been canceled now. They don't care about that. Quantum Break, that game had potential. Even though they include that stupid TV show. But that's easily fixed with a sequel. All you gotta do is remove the TV show, give it a real good story, give it a proper use of powers, and you would have had a good game. I can only imagine custom Xbox One consoles with Quantum Break integrated in it. You know what I'm saying? That'd be cool as hell. They didn't do that. Sunset Overdrive. I mean, again, obviously I blame the fanboys for that. The game was great. It didn't sell. But you could have brought that back again. Hyped it up. Get people interested in the console. Limited edition Xbox One X. Sunset Overdrive bundle where it had like a different color. There's so much stuff. I mean, everything Microsoft has done. Now, obviously, a lot of fanboys don't understand this. They don't understand how much money Microsoft had to put into this generation alone, not only to turn everything around, but to get back at least in the spotlight in a good way, sort of. But it's slowly turning on them because they don't have any games. Remember, they had to put extra money into this generation to remove the DRM. They had to put extra money in this generation to refine and reshape and correct the mistake that they did with the original Xbox One when they removed the camera with the Xbox. I'm talking about the Xbox One S, by the way. The Xbox One S is kind of a fix to that. It removed the camera. It had all its power that was stripped from it from the Kinect. It had the power for it. That's why it had a 30% increase in power, but it had the same specs and vice versa. Obviously, they threw in a Blu-ray drive. They refined a few things with the HDR. And then we got other things. We got the One X. The One X is another thing, but they put more money into that to get the One X out here. More R&D and resource went into the One X than actual games this generation for the Microsoft camp. Most of the games we got now that are new are mostly small indie titles, if you really think about it. Ori and the Wisp. Or I think it's named Ori and the Wisp or whatever. Come on, man. That's not selling anybody. It's not selling anybody. State of Decay 2. I mean, it's a zombie game, sure, but that's not really raising people's eyebrows, Battlegrounds, that's coming to PlayStation 4. I already covered that on PlayStation News. It's coming to PlayStation 4. It's already been rumored and hinted. It's coming to PlayStation 4. You really think people are going to buy that for this console and then go, you know what? Oh yeah, I'm just gonna say screw PlayStation for this. No, they're not. They're gonna wait like they did with Rise of the Tomb Raider. You guys remember Rise of the Tomb Raider? They waited for Rise of the Tomb Raider to come to the PlayStation 4, and they got it for PlayStation 4. They're gonna basically call you beta testers and get the full release version on PS4. Vice versa. They're gonna do that. Super Lucky's Tale. By far, one of the cooler games you got, but at the same time, if I look at the performance of that game, and Digital Foundry did a review of this. It doesn't run at a true 4K 60. It runs at 4K, sure, because it's a platformer. That's easy. It's not demanding. But when it comes to the actual frame rate dips, oh yeah, that game suffers from some frame rate dips. And you question that on a console that's been hyped up as being a beast, as being labeled filled the power. You question these things. But a lot of people don't want to question these things. A lot of you just want to agree to disagree and not see the bigger picture. Now, do I agree with Rich Review Tech USA? I somewhat agree with him. I agree that, yes, they do need to change the image of this and rechange the slogan, because I'm telling you right now, when they're saying true 4K, uncompromised, and you're getting games like Anthem, you're getting games like Assassin's Creed Origins, you're getting games like Killing Floor 2, and vice versa, and Crackdown 3, you know what I'm saying? Half of these games, or not half of them, but one of those games were. But most of these games that are coming out are not 4K. So what's the point of hyping this up as a true 4K experience? Uncompromised. You're not delivering the uncompromised part. Sure, you're delivering 4K, and that's true. You're delivering 4K, but you're not delivering the 4K uncompromised part. You see, now I already know some retard or some fool or some dude that really thinks he knows something about gaming and knows something about tech is going to come and try to educate a tech head like myself and go, well, they are they are living up to the uncompromised part, because if you think about it, there are more 4K games than the ones that are not 4K. Yeah, true, but that doesn't mean that the list is coming by. And by the way, the list, most of the games that are 4K are older games that Digital Foundry did a video on, saying that those games are going to be 4K and get nice upgrades due to the 4K assets. So, again, what's with the newer games? Really, what you got to focus on? The newer games, Project Cars, for example, that's 4K, but it's not 4K 60. And you guys claimed that game was going to be held back by the PS4, and the dev said we're not being held back by no PS4. And guess what? It's 4K 30 on Xbox One X. You look at Shadow of War, that's 4K, but it's not 4K 60. It's not 4K 60. They confirmed that it's not 4K 60. They're not focusing on that. They're focused on 4K experience and keeping it even. Why? And why would they do that? Even if they could get 4K 60, why would they do that? I know you might ask. Because Microsoft is not in the position for them to take a hit like that. Microsoft is significantly behind the PlayStation 4 this generation. Sony has outsold the Xbox One in the US. Okay? I'm going to count the US real quick. 2-1. When we're talking about the Europe is 3-1. Japan, it's like 4-1. You get what I'm saying? It's not even 4. It's like 18-1 in Japan. I really think about 18-1 because like Xbox sells like 50 units in Japan. So you get what I'm saying? You're not doing anything in the long run. You're not getting what you're thinking you're getting. I understand you're excited. That's fine. Be excited. Be happy for a console. That's cool. But most of the stuff you're seeing, and a lot of you that are complaining and sitting in drama podcasts claiming people are just ignorant and entitled, half of you are the reason. Most of you are the reason why people are calling you out. You're the reason. You guys hyped it up. You claim guys were salty. You guys went to people's channels. I remember before I even started doing gaming news, before I even started uploading stuff, one dude commented on my video, one of my old Call of Duty videos. He said, "Oh, this you're playing on this garbage console, 4K 60. Scorpion's going to destroy this. So, haha, whatever, pony." And he left. You know what I'm saying? I got messages like that. So you can't tell me that you guys didn't say this and Phil didn't say this. It's already been said. It's already been said. It's already been mentioned. Okay? It's already been mentioned. So please, stop. Just stop. Just stop. You can be excited. Be excited. But do not act ignorant and do not hype up shit that you don't know a damn thing about. Just don't. And let's say this console did do 4K 60, right? All right? I mean, it has the power of an RX 480. That's what it supposedly have, right? But you know what's funny about that? If this thing has the power of an RX 480, why the hell isn't Phil, since he cares about you, the gamer, why isn't he giving you 1080p 60 frames per second? Because I hate to break it to you guys, a RX 480, especially for those who don't know nothing about tech, about PC, I have an RX 480, and I have a GTX 1070 behind me that I have to install in here. An RX 480 can do 1440p at 60 frames per second. That's how good the RX 480 is. You mean to tell me, even though this console is being pushed to 4K, you mean to tell me there's an option to give the consumer 1080p 60 and he's not even incorporating that in any of the games for the guys who don't have 4K displays? You mean to tell me he's not doing that, but you guys claim he's for the Xbox fans, he's for the gamer? I want you guys to really let that sink in, because let me tell you something. Sony never promised any performance. Sony never said anything about 60. Sony never said anything about true 4K. They said that this console is the PS4 Pro is a console that can just upscale to 4K, or not even say upscale. They say it can take advantage of HDR via checkerboard rendering, aka upscaling. That's it. So please listen. Please listen. But I already know it's gonna be some little 5-year-old in the comments that's just going to dislike the video. You're not making sense, Ryan. When I just make plenty sense right there. And that's fine. You can act like that. But the bottom line is this. PlayStation guys got games, guys. PlayStation guys are happy. They're waiting for games. They got more games coming. How many games do you have again? If I put a filter to all the games that Microsoft has developed and throw in over the years and this generation, if I put a filter in Halo, if I put a filter in Gears, and if I put a filter in Forza, what do you have in 2017? I'll give you a quick hint. You got Crackdown 3, you got Super Lucky Tales, Ori and the Wisp, or whatever the hell that game is called, State of Decay, and, it was one more, but you got those. Sea of Thieves. Okay? That's what you got for a new console. That's $500. I want you to ask me this. I want you to answer me this for me. Answer this for me. Is that worth the $500 price tag? No, it's not. And before somebody goes, for the power that's in it, it's worth the price point. How is it worth the price point? It's not delivering 4K 60. It's not delivering 4K all the time. It's delivering 4K, yes, true. But it's not going to be a consistent 4K. There's going to be some games that's going to be 4K, others that will not be 4K. Basically, all demanding AAA titles will not be 4K. Open world games will not be 4K. So much for no compromises. So much for no limits, no boundaries. This is what I'm talking about. The wordplay from Microsoft, the amount of words they threw in here, and you guys just ate it up. You basically, you're fish, right? They threw out the bait, you bit on that hook, and they reeled you right in, and then you hyped it up, and well, we're here, and reality set in. And those who called this out months ago, like myself, we're telling you, it ain't worth the time, and it ain't worth the money. So that should sum this up, and that's it. I'll see you guys on the podcast tonight. You guys be good, and yeah. This is going to be interesting to see the reaction to this, but hopefully it's not too bad. But something tells me it's not going to be that bad. I'll see you guys later. Deuces.